Hello, people of internet. It has been a really, really long time. I've completely forgotten how to do most of this stuff. I don't know if the bots will be friendly with me today or not, but I figured I'd give it another try. So if y'all can just bear with me for a second, since I don't expect even one person to show up. It's just so unannounced. I'm going to try and share my link. All right. Share. Copy. I know, it's kind of boring when I do this, guys. I hope everyone is doing well because I'm about to lose my damn mind with everything going on. On the one hand, I'm glad people are getting out there again and I can go to tag sales and, people aren't caring quite as much, but at the same time, people are not caring quite enough, and it can be a bit of a pain in the butt, as you all know. Sorry that my big, huge face and everything is getting right in yours. But y'all know I can't see very well, and I can't have my magnifier on when I'm trying to go to these websites to paste my link. So now I gotta go do it on Facebook. If anybody's actually showing up and talking to me, I won't see it. Let's see, is it still Sam on? According to this. Oh, my connection is unstable. Oh no. It says my connection was unstable for a minute there. I hope it didn't cut me off. But yeah, I have crap internet, crap laptop. We all are very much aware of this. I don't think I'm even going to be able to share this on my LeadingBlind Facebook page because that's how much of a pain this can be. And yes, we all know it. So, and now I can't even find how to get to that on the new Facebook layout. This is the hazard of being me, apparently. The hazard of being me and not being able to see anything, it really bites. Come on. Oh, maybe more, see more. There we go. Really, this is not going to be kind to me at all, is it? It doesn't look like it's going to be nice. It's like I just want to figure out how to get to my thing that I've always been able to get to until today. Oh man. Can I get to my other page? It's like, no, you can look at your not public webpage. Well, it's my private personal webpage with my real name on it and everything, which most people already know what it is because they're not idiots and they pay attention. But don't I have the thing that says I can look at my pages? Oh well, I guess I can't share on that right now. I'm just gonna have to deal with it like this. So, thank you for your patience. How is everyone doing? Have you been reading good books, listening to any good music, watching good movies or TV shows? I haven't had Netflix since I moved, practically since I moved to this house because of our shit internet. But my mom has Amazon Prime and I have access to Hulu, so I've been taking advantage of that and watching some new movies, and I'm starting some new TV shows, some of which I've given up on, some of which I'm continuing through, many of which I am rewatching for the second, eighth, or 50th time. And not to mention books. I've given up on just getting audiobooks because it's worth the headache if I can get a hold of copies of books that I can't easily get a good audiobook of. So I've been doing that. And oh wait, maybe I should try doing my Facebook share through my phone. That might actually be easier. And I'm going to try to discuss a couple of these things, but y'all know how I need a sounding board, and it can on a live stream, it can be really, really, really hard to have a conversation with myself. Oh, if you just give me a minute, I will. Once again, please be patient. It's been so long since I've done this. And yeah, my last attempts at this didn't end so well at all. So, I gotta look myself up on YouTube to find my live video to share it to my Facebook page. It's like I want to scream sometimes. Uh, yes, that's me right there. This is such a headache. All right, share. Uh, Copy link. Then go here. Well, I guess I might as well talk about what I'm doing most recently. Because most recently, Deus Deacon, who's been a guest on the channel before, even though you couldn't understand a damn word he was saying, and he's been in the chat room plenty of times, he finally convinced me to give Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the Sarah Michelle Gellar TV show, a try. And how did he finally manage to do that, you ask? And I still can't figure out how to share it this way. God, I want to scream again. This isn't fair. I'm trying to find my stuff and I can't find it. No, not notifications. Oh my. Wait, did I see pages? Yes, pages. There we go. There we go. It's like, dang, that was hard to do. Post. Why is this such a headache? Hopefully I'm still going live. Oh, supposedly there's somebody here, but we'll see about that. If anybody's lurking or if anybody wants to chat. The way that Deus Deacon finally talked me into watching Buffy was by luring me with a voice that I have dearly come to love over the past years as he has narrated the Dresden Files audiobooks, James Marsters. Now, I already kind of knew that James Marsters played a character called Spike on Buffy, but I had no context for that whatsoever. I'd only remembered like 4 or 5 seconds of any of the series that I watched back when it was originally airing. So that was fun. That was really, really fun. I'm still trying to post this link to my Facebook page. Did it actually work? I'm trying to see if it worked. And I can't even scroll down to my posts. Oh my lord. Okay, there we go. It posted. Cool. The things I do. The things I do, I tell you. Anyway. Yeah, so he told me James Marsters was in it and that he had a great role. It wasn't just a role that was kind of there and then kind of not. He said he's there for a little bit. And then we got about talking. I was like, I know there's a musical episode out there. And now that I realize that's, I'm going to say his name backwards. I always say this name freaking backwards. Anthony Stewart Head? Yeah, I believe that's how you say it. I hate when my brain does this to me. When I realized, the guy from Repo was in there, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's something. I watched the pilot. That was interestingly enough. And I was like, does he sing in the musical episode? And he's like, yeah, he does. And he actually sings a couple other times after that. And I was like, James Marsters and Head singing. Okay, you sold me. I'm locked in for the long run, hopefully. I'm only at the first half of season 3 right now. I'm on like episode 3 or 4, if that. I saw Spike show up. I'm an episode or 2 beyond that. I just finished watching a female mummy related episode. So if anybody knows anything about that, you can get an idea for where I am in that. Not completely hooked. It's a little dated. It's a little hokey, but I'm sure give it another 6 years and Diaries and the originals will feel hokey to me. But because I grew to love those shows while they were still technically running, even if I didn't fall in love with them when they first started, that probably is gonna hold on to the nostalgic factor for me. Buffy just doesn't have it. I'd much rather just watch the movie over and over again, but I'm still really, really, I'm enjoying the TV show for what it is so far. So that's what I've been watching in regards to that. I mean, I still watch stuff that I've always watched. I've been watching Bar Rescue for a year. I've been watching Marriage Boot Camp for several seasons. So Buffy's my only like episodical, like storyline related show that I can watch right now, other than American Horror Story. But I mean, I've already seen that and it's not airing right now. The next season isn't coming out until 2021. Oh, what a pain in the ass. What a pain in the ass. But I might be able to get my husband started watching Murder House and he's like 2 or 3 episodes in. So here's hoping I have that to share with him. I've read a few books over this past year because, like I said, I know I haven't really been able to get on and stay on since about Christmas last year. And I am still going. Cool. I read The Breakdown by B.A. Paris. Several of these, I would say 3 of these are psychological thrillers with some supernatural elements in a couple of them. That is about a woman who takes a road back home that her fiance, I think it's her fiance, maybe her husband, asked her not to take because it's a bad back road. She passes somebody who's broken down. She parks behind them, but she doesn't get out of the car. She doesn't go say hi or anything. She just sits there waiting to see if the person in the car will react if they need help because there's a horrible storm going on. And, lonely girl, recluse backwoods. Part of me wants to say this takes place in England somewhere, but I could be misremembering that. It's been a couple of months. And then she starts having these memory issues. And I don't want to give everything away, but there was that the person in that car was murdered, and it turns out it was somebody she knew. That was a friend of hers, not like a close friend of hers, but somebody she had just met, had a couple of conversations with, really, really hit it off with. And, she felt guilty as fuck for not getting out of the car and checking on her, although she knows she could have gotten killed too. And she's also trying to keep it a secret from her significant other because she's worried he'll be pissed that she went down that road when he told her not to. She doesn't want him to retroactively be worried sick about her. But with her memory issues and her cognitive issues, all these things keep coming up, like her best friend keeps calling her like, hey, did you get this birthday present for so-and-so's party? And she's thinking, wait, what party? What present? What did we agree on? We were going to get something. And she has to try and figure out a way to meet up with her friend, figure out what they agreed to get this girl, when and where the party is, get it, and, show up in a short amount of time. And things like that keep happening. Her friend will call her, or a friend will call her and be like, hey, I called you a half hour ago. I said I was dropping by. And she's clueless. And all this time she's going through this, she keeps getting these silent hang-up calls. And she's pretty sure it's from the person that killed her friend on that back road. I won't give away the ending, but it is a psychological thriller with a few twists and turns, with some themes that you would recognize from things like the 2 movies I saw this year. And I actually got to see them the year they came out. That doesn't happen very often. That excited me, but I'll get to that. I also read Roseblood. I can't remember when I read it. I think it was last year, but I don't think it came up in streams, which is by A.G. Howard. For anybody who's not aware, A.G. Howard is very well known as a young adult author. She writes fantasy romances for young adults, adventures. And she has a series that's based on a modern retelling, or a modern sequel / retelling of things like Alice in Wonderland. That's her series she's famous for. I think the first one was called Splintered, and she's very well known for that. Roseblood is a pseudo sequel, reimagining, remake, spiritual successor, kind of all wrapped up in the one of the Phantom of the Opera. Now, I liked a lot of the ideas in that book, and I did finish it. but she kind of would Anne Rice it or Stephen King it, and I like both of those authors, or at least I used to like Anne Rice. I used to love her very detailed descriptions that would go on for just pages of a single room, especially in Men Mock the Devil. She did that a lot. And Stephen King will go off on historical or character history, ramblings. She does that like to the nth degree, and she kept losing me. I was like, she'd just been sitting in a car thinking about all these things for the past hour and a half reading this book because I was listening to the book. Can we get back to the premise, please? So that was a problem I had with the book. That bored me because I would completely forget where we were in the story. And by the time they're having conversations, the conversations would lose me because they weren't always quite interesting enough. There were really interesting elements in it. I did like a lot of things that the author did with the characters. But then for me, the last chapter ended on a complete wet fart. And I was like, look, a culmination, I get. I'm all for that. But the way and where you ended it, so like based on what they're doing, it shouldn't be PG-13, but this is so rated G, and you just end it with that. No, that's not a good place to end this. This is not where you should have ended it. You should have ended it before they got busy. You should have implied they were going to get busy, but let them have something to say to each other, and then take a hand and leaned in and just leave it there. Because it's just such a wet fart. You've given us all this exposition during this, and now you're going to slide into that. It's so awkward. I didn't like that. But the book and the story I liked overall, but I would say I liked probably a third of it more than I liked the other 2/3. Great ideas, great moments, just narration and ending. I also read a book called Little Girls by Ronald Malfi. I'd never read anything by Ronald Malfi before, and this was a story about a woman moving back into her father's house with her husband and daughter after her father committed suicide. It's believed he had some kind of dementia. He jumped from, I don't remember if it was a widow's walk or just a really big window in the attic, and he died. And they're moving back there to take care of, the estate, basically. And this little girl starts showing up and playing with her daughter that makes the woman think of a friend she had when she was really little, a really sinister, psychotic little friend she had. And a lot of things begin getting unfolded. And this is where it's like 5 twists happen. And you're like, well, is it going to go in this direction or is it going to go in this direction? And it's kind of both. It had a lot of problems, but overall I liked it. And I wish at the very end they hadn't gone, but it's both plus this, haha, a little bit too twisty at the end, even though I could appreciate it for trying to do something different by making it all of it. And the other big one I read that I wanted to mention briefly, because mostly I've been re-listening to a lot of stories, is the Girl with All the Gifts. Who wrote that again? M.R. Carey. M.R. Carey wrote The Girl with All the Gifts. Also, there's a movie out. I've seen the movie. I've read the book. I really love both. I don't have much else to say to it. It's a zombie film. I'm going to leave it at that. If you've seen it, you've seen it. If you've read it, you've read it. If you haven't, you haven't. But I really liked it. There are some people I know that are like, oh my God, I mean, I'm going to call out Dave's Deacon here, but whatever. He's entitled to have a different opinion than me. But I'll start talking about it, and he'll be like, I really don't care. And I'm going to be like, but you like The Last of Us, and there's so much The Last of Us in here. Speaking of which, I have beat the first and second game because I didn't get any. I've never played the game until after the second one came out. I bought the first one when the second one came out because it was so cheap. And my husband, who, I don't live with him, it's complicated. He bought the second game, and he lent it to me after he'd beaten it like 3 or 4 times. So I've beaten both games 3 or 4 times now. I love playing it. It's fabulous. I don't like the horde thing. I don't even like zombies, but these are zombie things I enjoy and enjoy playing with. And being legally blind and playing with all the accessibilities in the second one made it really hard to go back and play the first one, because I can't turn up the brightness for shit in the first one, and there's no accessibility features at all. So it's like I got so used to being able to be like, oh, I can go on infinity mode if I want, infinity bullets if I want to. I can go on, one shot or one hit kills my enemies if I want to. I can actually go prone if I want to and be invisible to those enemies if I want to. And I've got my contrast modes. I had all these things, my slow motion modes that I could do in the second one that I can't do in the first one. And I really enjoy the first one a lot, but there's one segment that makes me have a fucking mental breakdown every time I play it, and I hate going back to it. I actually recently restarted playing it again since beating the second game multiple times, as I've mentioned, and I don't want to reach that scene. I've actually been having a lot of trouble with the first one since, getting it so easily done in the second game. I have attempted to watch the movies, the TV show The Outsider based on the book by Stephen King, and Doctor Sleep, directed by Mike Flanagan. The book also written by Stephen King. I was never really interested in Doctor Sleep. I tried listening to it about a year after it came out, and it just lost me. Maybe I'll try it again, and maybe I'll have better luck, but it lost me. This TV series kind of lost me too. It just wasn't engaging enough. It was, the things they changed were fine. The things they didn't change were fine. It just wasn't quite engaging enough for me. And well, that was The Outsider. And Doctor Sleep, well, I wasn't looking forward to it because it was a hybrid of the sequel book and being a sequel to Stephen Kubrick's The Shining, and you all know how much I fucking despise that movie. I really wish I hadn't been so bored senseless watching it, because I really, really liked Rose the Hat. I really want to see more of her, but I just couldn't get through the movie. I was watching the director's cut. Maybe I should try and watch the theatrical release. But I'd heard things that were not great about the theatrical release, which was why I went with the director's cut. And I figured maybe I should just back out of there and not watch it again. Maybe I'll try it again. Maybe I'll go back eventually and finish The Outsider. But I just don't know. Okay, according to this, I'm still going. That's awesome. Still nobody here, but again, this was mostly a test to see if I could stay online without bots being assholes. Here I thought I was going to have to leave the room to get a drink, and I didn't want to leave the thing unattended, but blind girl forgot her drink was right next to her. These are really good. By the way, these peace teas that you can get at the Dollar Tree. Oh, they're so good. That's a raspberry one. So the movies I've watched, although you guys might have heard me mention some of them, I can't remember. It's been so long since I've just had a chat without a theme. I watched the remake of Suspiria. I liked the movie. I couldn't enjoy the cinematic experience because, well, first off, I wasn't sure if my TV was off. I know it takes place in the 70s. I know there's a lot of 70s stuff going on, but it's like, you know how you watch some of the movies that take place in the 70s and you get like those really like blurringly bright, obnoxious, like coral colored lipsticks, or the red in the background is just so bright. It's not even Argento. It's just so bright that it gets blurry. Like it wants to damage the film kind of bright. There was a lot of that going on, and I wasn't sure if it was intentional or not, and it was fucking with my eyes. And the brightness in certain sections, I mean, I'll probably have to go in and watch it at night someday, because it was a decent movie. And I was trying to watch scenes where like one character finds another one that's been missing, and it's in a dark room and all these wacky things are happening. I could see the horrible things that was happening to the finder, but I couldn't even make out that she was in a room and with the findee. I mean, that's how dark my screen was. I'd been told there was, like, a barbed wire room and everything. I don't wanna give spoilers or anything, I know there's a barbed wire room in Suspiria. I didn't see any of that. Not a single thing in that room, and there were things like that that happened multiple times, and it pissed me off because I was trying to enjoy the horror, but I couldn't see any of the horror. So not until the last scene with the mother sighs, but that's another story. That was another whole reason for me to go, "Good, I'm not buying into this." I watched a 86 filmed stage musical that Michael Crawford was in called Barnum. It's kind of like a predecessor, I would even call it a grandfather of The Greatest Showman. It's great for spectacle, not good for musical performances. Like, the songs are not really that great, except for a song called "There's a Sucker Born Every Minute." If you want a good rendition of that song, look up Raul Esparza, Raul space Esparza. He was Chilton in the Hannibal TV series. He was Barboa in Law and Order SVU. He was in a production of Company that's done by Stephen Sondheim. He's done that song really, really good. Jim Dale also did a version of it. He won a Tony Award for his performance in Barnum, I think. But the one I watched was the original production with Michael Crawford. He was He was a phenomenal acrobat in it. He was a phenomenal actor. He was a pretty good singer. I used to think Michael Crawford was God vocally. I don't think that anymore. I'm not gonna say he doesn't sing well. I'm just gonna say my ears have changed, and I don't think that anymore. Uh, Amazing spectacle. Not great story, not very good performers otherwise. Like, the girl that played his wife, Charity Barnum, I did not like her voice. I don't know how she could have gotten through auditions. I felt that way about several of the singers, and that's all compiled with the fact that this was a staged production in 1986 that was filmed on 1986 equipment with 1980, all equipment, microphones, lighting, everything. It didn't feel professional. It felt more like I was watching a 1960s TV version of Cinderella Live because it hurt. Yeah, I mean, you could tell the microphones just had issues and nothing was being coming across right, but it was a good overall experience. I mean, I would watch it again, but I'd have to put it on mute for a lot of the time, and I could barely understand a word anybody was singing, but it was fun. It was definitely fun for what it was. I also watched The Invisible Man. Yeah, the remake of The Invisible Man. I was looking forward to that one from the first trailer I saw, which was only from about November. And it came out in January, and I got to see it in about February or March, I think. I think it was March. I have a copy of it now, but I rented it to see it first. And I already knew everything about it. I'd seen spoiler reviews, so that took away from it a little bit, but I needed to know some things because with my eyes, the first half is very, very subtle, mostly subtle, things slightly moving, things being moved, and I don't always catch it. So, a very, very good movie. I really do enjoy it. I've only watched it 2 more times, I think. Usually when I really love a movie, I watch it, like, tons of times, but I'm getting a little bit over that because it is a quieter movie. It is a slower movie. It's quote unquote "boring." Damn good movie, but not at my speed. So as much as I loved it, it's not gonna be one I go to constantly. I also watched Joker. God bless Joaquin Phoenix, but this movie was not my thing. I mean, I love the punchline, and if you guys have seen the movie, you know what the punchline is. But this movie just, again, it was super slow. It really didn't do anything for me. I could appreciate everything it was, but I was the wrong audience for it. I don't know what else to say. I'll probably watch it again in the future when I don't have to rent it, but I've rented it once and I'm not up for renting it again. Or buying it for that matter at this price. Um, I got to see The Lodge, which was the other one I've been looking forward to since I saw its first trailers come out. Again, probably in November, December is when I first saw the trailers, right before it came out. I don't know if I could stomach watching that movie again, but I'll probably buy it if I find it, like, in the bargain bin or something like that. Because I was going to buy it without seeing it first, but I saw it and I went, "Oh, great, it's out. I wanna try and rent it, though. I really wanna try and rent it before I buy it," and the same thing with The Invisible Man. I went to rent it, wasn't available. I rented The Invisible Man and Joker instead, and went, okay, I'll do that." I think that was about the same time I, watched one of the other movies as well, but we'll get to that. Loved The Invisible Man, kept looking for The Lodge in all my red boxes, wasn't fricking anywhere anytime I was looking, even though when it first came out, it was there, and I put it off because it wasn't a weekend when I could ask my mom to make sure it got back to the red box the next day so I wouldn't get charged more money, and it was never freaking available when I had the ability to watch it. Uh, Finally, got some access to Hulu, got to watch it free, and that is a rough, rough movie. I'm almost glad that I didn't buy it because it's another one of those super slow paced, not entirely my thing. I've been watching a lot of super slow paced movies lately. Like The Witch is super slow paced, but I love that one. Uh, Midsommar is very slow paced. The Lodge, The Invisible Man isn't slow paced, but it's on the slower side at the beginning. Uh, and movies like that usually aren't my thing. I don't hate slow burn movies. I do like slow burn movies. Like A Dark Song is a very slow burn movie, but that one just got so brutal for me, and I was just, I don't know, but the long quiet and the brutality of what happens when something's happening, I don't know. But oh my god, talk about a movie that can scar you for life, and I really, really enjoyed it. I just don't think it's something that's going to be often repeated because it takes a lot out of you. The horror guru was right, and Lizzie Lemon Drop were right. It takes so much out of you. All right, I also watched in the theater the first ever and probably last ever because of the way Disney's going with it, Star Wars movie I've ever seen in the cinema, Rise of Skywalker, and it was okay. People hate The Last of the Jedi. Stick it up your asses, haters. I don't care. I fucking love that movie. You are entitled to not like it, for the record. But stop bitching and shitting on it to make other people like me, who absolutely fucking worship that movie and think it's the best one that ever fucking came out, stop trying to make us feel bad for it, because we're allowed to like it and you're allowed to hate it. Rise of Skywalker, I think everybody can agree it really wasn't that great. It wasn't terrible. It really wasn't terrible. I would say Rogue One was not as good. But then again, I was not a Rogue One fan, and I went in trying to watch it for Mads Mikkelsen, and he was about in 3 minutes of that movie, so I was chipped. I went in for the wrong reasons watching that one. I haven't seen Solo yet, so someday I'll have to hold it up against Solo. I liked it. I had some problems with it, but for me, it was just kind of there. But I was really glad to finally experience that Williams music, like in surround sound, trying to rip my eardrums out through my nostrils practically. You know, that boom. Actually, no, I take that back. I was really disappointed at how low the soundtrack was, because I hate when movie theaters just slam the volume as loud as it can fucking go and it doesn't need to. That shit, that opening theme needs to be blasted as loud as it can be, and they had it at about half volume. There were people still settling comfortably into their seats that were louder than that music. Not being obnoxiously loud either. They were just, shifting and getting themselves comfortable or leaning forward or opening their popcorn or whatever. Nothing too crazy. There was nobody obnoxious in my viewing. I think me and my husband were more obnoxious than most of the people there because we kept leaning over and whispering to each other. Being respectful, but it happens. We're talkers. I try to keep it limited, but it doesn't always work. And yeah, it was an okay movie. I just really wish they could have actually blasted that amazing soundtrack, or at least the amazing introductory music. I have seen and I now own Midsommar. Good movie. Another one I'm not going to watch all the time. I've seen it once since I bought it. I saw it when I rented it. obviously. It's a good movie. I like it. I can't say anything else to that. I know it's an older movie. Most people aren't surprised by this, but I don't first come out because it takes forever for them to come up on free on demand or to be aired. And when they're aired, they're the crappy versions. So, and I saw Glass. Now I've heard Glass get some shit. I freaking love Glass. I can completely understand where people give it shit because those moments are a little bit to me too. But you all know me, I can take it for what it is and not hate it for what it isn't. And I really, really fucking love Glass. And oh my god, I love freaking James McAvoy so much. I don't have it on my list, but I just watched something with James McAvoy in it. I want to say it was maybe a BBC production of a Jane Austen novel, maybe. No. It was Becoming Jane with Anne Hathaway. That's what it was. I'd seen that years and years ago when it came out, but I'd forgotten he was in it because I don't think he was like a superstar yet. Like he was getting there, but he wasn't there yet. So I was watching that again, and I was like, "Oh my God, Jamie's in here! I'm so happy! I love that man." Because I've seen him in It Chapter 2, and he's good in that. Not awesome, but he's good in that. I also saw I rewatched Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice, which are both BBC productions. One has Dan Stevens in it. The other has trying to remember. I think Dan Stevens is in Sense and Sensibility. I think he plays Edward Ferrars, I think. Yeah, that's right. He plays Edward Ferrars, if I can remember correctly. And then Pride and Prejudice, it's Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy. Yeah. Very good movies. Little dated, a little long, but It reminds me, I also saw another movie on Hulu called Mary Shelley, which is basically just a gothic romance with the character of Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley as the central protagonist, and it was her love story with Percy Shelley. And that was kind of cool for what it was. It was neat. I enjoyed that very much. I like me my chick flicks. I like me my gothic romances. So that was fun. In terms of buying things, I'm always buying movies that I end up never watching. It's pathetic, but I had good finds like this past week or two. Last week I was up at the place called the Book Barn where I live, where it's like 4 different locations. No, it's 3 different locations now. It used to be 6. You can get used books and used movies and used audiobooks, and it's just really, really good deals. I think I spent about $40 on books, and I got Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, and Deathly Hallows. I got like 4 books for myself. I got 2 movies, and I got a couple of other. I got like 2 books for my girl, my best friend, and then I got a book for my husband too. So I got like 12, 13 books, many of which would cost a lot. The Harry Potter ones cost the most at about 8 a piece. That were they were moderately used, not gently used, but moderately used, and not total pieces of shit. So it's a great place to go. But I found, hang on, let me see if I can grab them for you real quick because it's right here in the room somewhere. Okay, these I just got today, but that's not what I wanted to show y'all. I'll bet you I stuck them down here in my overloaded drawer. Yes, I did. Oh, I gotta reminds me I also saw a Disney movie that came out recently. The Bride with Sting and Jennifer Beals. And I always get his name wrong. I know I mentioned it in one of my later streams. Clancy Brown. Yep, I wanted to make sure I said his name right because I always get stupid and say like Tom Clancy or just something else stupid because my brain farts. And y'all will remember when I first started my channel, I told you I never have a chance to see this movie, so when I saw it on demand, I watched it and had to do a quick plug of it. Snow White: A Tale of Terror with Sigourney Weaver and Sam Neill. And yeah, those are the names on it. Sigourney Weaver, Sam Neill. It doesn't even have Snow White's actress's name on it. Probably for decent reason, to be honest. She's not the best actress in this, but she's all right. Fucking love these movies. I know this is a bit more camp, but I love Clancy Brown. I love the little man who plays Ronaldo. Sting's all right in it. Jennifer Beals is all right in it. Carrie Elways is all right in it for the couple of minutes he's in it. I love these movies. I've loved these movies practically since they came out. Obviously, this one I probably saw when it came out. This one, I was probably 10 when I saw it, or older. I was probably 15 when I found it because I was getting into it around those times. And these I just bought today. I decided to, even though I wasn't that big on it, I was tag sailing today, and I found The Last Exorcism for $1. So I was like, yes, I've seen it. I wasn't that into it, but I want to give it another chance. I don't see it on very often. So if I watch it and I hate it again, or if I like it even less the second time, I should say, I can give it away or throw it out. It was $1. And I found an unopened copy of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I know a lot of people hate this movie. I know there are a lot of other people that love this movie. I've never actually seen the movie for myself. And although I think it's AMC that plays all the Halloween movies every year, like multiple times a year, I never catch Halloween 3. And I've tried to record it before. I've tried to put it on my timer. It's never worked. So now for $1, I can at least open this baby up and I can watch it and see what I personally think of it instead of watching all these reviews that other people are making, you know? So other than trying to homeschool my son, although he's back to actual school now, thank fucking Christ, with me being a stay-at-home mom, my mom working from home, and my son going to school from home, this place was getting too tense. We need space from each other, and although my mom will go and do her thing, my son never goes anywhere without me pretty much, except, once in a while he'll go for a quick run with Nana. I was ready to lose my fucking shit. I mean, thank God my mom is willing to babysit him sometimes and I can make my run down to the book barn with my husband for the day. But I've only done that like 2 or 3 times since March, so I needed the break. Uh, it's also the way they have him set up at school. He's as minimalized as possible with his IEP to contract the virus. And I'm not too worried about him contracting it. I mean, yes, he could get sick. He could get very damn sick. He could die. I know it could happen. But he's not at high risk. He's not at high risk of getting sick. But my mother and my grandmother are both much higher risk of what could happen to them if they get sick. But it's either my sanity and my son's life, or a little risk of us getting sick if we don't take proper care of each other. So he's got to go to school full time as they will allow him to do, while in a room with a shield up, with limited interaction, taking most of his classes on the computer, regardless of being in school, so that he's not in a classroom full of kids. Yeah, I gotta do what I can for my mental health, just like he's gotta do what he's gotta do, my mom's gotta do what she's gotta do. We all gotta do what we gotta do. And we're all doing our best. That's all I can say. That's all any of us can say. So yeah, in terms of rewatching stuff, I recently rewatched American Horror Story 1984. I liked that one a lot better. I'm considering watching Apocalypse again because I really didn't like it, and I'm wondering if sitting and watching it all in one go will make me feel better about it. Not really thinking that's going to happen. And if my husband can actually get into American Horror Story, I will force myself to watch Roanoke again, because I barely made it through that one the first time. I love all the other seasons, but those two were not so hot. I wasn't even that big on 1984, but by the time it got in the second half of the season, I was like, okay, now I can watch this. This is better. I can live with this. It doesn't help that my DVR missed 2 episodes at the beginning, and I'm like, "What the fuck happened?" I just met these characters now. What the fuck happened? Sorry, I'm slurping, everybody. But yeah, I don't have anything else written down. I'm trying to remember what else I might have bought. If there's anything anybody would find. Pretty sure they're all movies I've seen a dozen times before. It's not new to me. I probably mentioned them in the past. I was impressed that I found Midsummer in the $5 basket at Walmart. I was like, I know this movie's a couple of years old now, but I just, sometimes you're surprised. I mean, The Killing Joke is in the $5 or $3 basket, and I keep thinking about getting it. And I know by the time I go, yes, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna watch it because I've heard it's so good. It's not gonna be there. I know it's not when I finally decide to go pick it up. That happens to me every time. But I'm not as much of a comic books girl. I'm not a DC or Marvel girl. I just like me my Batman and I like me my Jokers. So this might work for me. I don't know. Anybody will have to comment on whether Mark Hamill's actually the Joker in The Killing Joke or if it's somebody else. Oh, something else. I watched the remake of Chucky, Child's Play. It was okay. Nothing epic there, but I did rewatch it. I thought it was okay. I kind of just spaced out and looked at my phone through a lot of it because it's a generic, super predictable slasher thing with a killer doll. Uh, Mark Hamill was very, very good as Chucky. I mean, I miss Brad Dourif doing it. I love Brad Dourif. I love the original. The only movie I haven't actually sat down and watched was Seed. And I tried to watch Seed. Uh, oh, I went through this whole period of time where I didn't understand black comedies, like dark comedies, horror comedies, whatever you want to call them. I went through this whole period where I just could not understand them. Like Bride of Chucky came out, I watched it, did not see it as a comedy. I saw the comedic moments, did not see it as a dark comedy at all. I mean, those things just went straight over my head for most of my life. Now I'm in my 30s. I'm starting to understand these nuances. These things are finally breaking through my thick skull. And I can appreciate them more, like The Voices. I love the movie The Voices. That's a funny one. I really like that one. Oh, I'm dropping my magnifying glass on my computer now. Probably deafening y'all. All right. Well, this was a completely random, didn't even forewarn anybody I was doing it stream. Nobody's here to talk to me. I'm talking to myself and hurting my throat. That's okay. I'm not mad at anybody. I understand this was a fly by the seat of my pants thing. The last 5 times I tried to go live, Autobots kicked me off, and maybe it's because of the subject matter. I still want to do that live stream and actually have it succeed someday. Oh, that was the other thing. I saw Onward. I bought Onward for my son, and he left about a third to halfway through it and left the living room to finish it for ourselves. It was a decent movie. It's clearly aimed towards more of a boys dynamic and masculine mindset. It's got just enough of a feminine mindset for people, and we're going obviously for the quote unquote normative mindsets, socially acceptable normative mindsets. I'm very classically gender normal, so I'm the girly one, feminine, girly, whatever you want to call it. So I could appreciate what moments of that were in there. I could appreciate some of the male humor. I really liked the characters. I thought the story was cute. I liked the punch at the ending because, spoiler alert, in Frozen, it's not about the true love of a boy and a girl, as if you didn't know that. It's about sisterly love. This is a very similar vein about what this story is about and what the characters come to realize through the course of the plot. And I really appreciate it. I would recommend it. Not a hard, oh my God, this is great, you got to watch this movie, like with some of the other Disney movies I really, really like. Like, I love Inside Out, Coco, Moana, Tangled. I love those movies. They're some of my favorites. But Onward is a good movie. It's worth a watch. Rental for a Redbox night, or watch it once it's fine if it's on Disney Plus or if it comes in, that type of thing. My son apparently didn't appreciate it at the time, but we own it, so I'm sure he'll eventually sit all the way through it at some point. And I liked all the fantasy elements that were in it. It was very fantasy element that I don't get to see in that type of a movie very often. I don't think I've seen one quite like that since How to Train Your Dragon. It had that very much that kind of a feel to it for me. All right, I'm still talking to myself. I think I keep hoping somebody's gonna pop in there and just say hi, but I picked a really weird time to show up and do this. All right, internet. I Now that live is working for me again, I may try to watch movies one by one and review them again because I finally gave up on all my old video that I actually had saved on a thumb drive for Magic, and I might just sit down, watch it again because it's on Hulu and I can watch it as much as I want now, and I'm so fucking happy. I love that movie. Now all I need to do is get the DVD so I don't have to worry about losing Hulu, and I can do a nice in-depth live stream and talk to you guys about it. If you have any recommendations for what you'd like me to watch or what you'd like to talk to me about on a live stream, please leave a comment below. Let me know, subscribe, share, all those things I'm supposed to say to make my channel grow. By the way, 39 subscribers now. Thank you. I hadn't even noticed until this past weekend. I hadn't been making videos, so I just ignored my channel. I haven't been looking for comments or subscribers or nothing, and it grew by seven people. So that's great. I'm so happy for that. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. I hope everybody is safe and well. I hope you're all sane, and I will see you all in the next video.